get this to work. Okay. Okay, before anybody asks, yes, that's me in the back seat of that military jet. Nowadays, that'd probably be a jumbo jet. My background, at one time, I was program manager of optical systems at the Pacific Missile Range facility in Hawaii. Supported missile defense and other weapons testing programs where we use visual products as data. I also have over a decade behind the wheel driving a tractor trailer, probably over 100,000 miles plus time with Robert Bosch at the Automotive Proving Grounds as a test driver. Now, it's a rather unique background, but it all came into focus one day when I was sitting in a hotel room in Louisville, Kentucky, watching a news story about a crash that morning that killed 10 members of a family. And some of the questions they were asking was, why did the truck leave the highway, and why did the safety devices fail? And I realized when I watched that, I knew how to answer those questions. So not only am I uniquely qualified to do this, but we've put together a team of experts in the industry, in the government, and academia that really add to the benefit of this company, including one of the gentlemen here with me today, Tom Walsh, the former director of worldwide safety with UPS. How big a problem is it in large trucks and buses? 371,000 crashes a year, 73,000 injuries a year, and over 3,000 deaths, costing the industry $99 billion annually. And this is Department of Transportation numbers. But it's just not just $99 billion a year. Their numbers show that in a 4-year period, it's increased 30%. So it's getting to be a bigger problem by the day. Part of the problem, in the military, pilots know to check their six because what you can't see kills. While in heavy vehicles is the same thing. Not only what you can't see kills, but it can be killed. And a lot of that problem is the blind spots around the vehicle. Most folks are aware of the one directly behind the vehicle where if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you. They're not aware of the blind spots on both sides and actually some in the front. What VehWare's approach and our technology is to develop technology for the driver. This is a display you'll have, where we use algorithms and processes to give him a bird's eye view of everything happening around him. And then we use algorithms and processes to identify him and use an icon because, like the military, using an icon gives the driver information. If you just put a display up and it's just got cars around it, it's a distraction. The driver has to pick out each car. So we can instantly give them that information and make it a tool, not a distraction. But we don't stop at just helping prevent the accident. We know the trucks are going to be involved in accidents. So now by capturing the data from the engine management computer, other sensors, and the visual aspects, we can tell you why an event happened, not just what happened, which goes a long ways to preventing accidents in the future. The benefits to the fleet, we can reduce their accidents, we can reduce their liabilities, and we can also reduce their operational costs. Now, this depends on the fleet. Some fleets have already got technology, so they probably only see a small savings of maybe 10%. Other fleets with no technology could probably see savings of 80% or higher. The U.S. market alone has got 10 million trucks registered with the Department of Transportation. When you look at Canada, Europe, and Asia, you're well over 50 million. And this is just vehicles that are registered that are over 26,000 pounds. Revenue model. Initially, hardware sales and software sales is going to be the bulk of our revenue. We'll also have monthly subscriptions for analytics and other software support, and also IP licensing into other spaces. Initially, it's going to be direct sales. This is a market where you've got to go out there and meet the fleets and actually talk to them face to face. We're also going to have a team of individuals such as Tom Walsh and some of our other folks that will be out talking to fleets and teaching them how to reduce their risk and developing relationships with future partners and future customers. And we also intend to eventually go into value-added resellers and OEM. Unlike passenger vehicles where the OEM puts the gadgets in your car that you decide whether to buy it or not, in heavy vehicle OEMs, it's the large fleets that drive what they put in as a line item. In other words, somebody like Schneider tells Volvo, we're going to buy 2,000 trucks, we want VehWare to be a line item. And this is how Eaton and Bendix sell into the market. Right now, we've got a number of companies that are partners with us. We've got FirmLogic Making Sense out of Texas for hardware and software support. We have an NDA with GE Intelligent Platforms looking at how to bring in military-level algorithms into this space. We also have an agreement with ALK Technologies to share some API. We've got relationships with Notre Dame, Penn State, and Binghamton University. We also have verbal commitments from 3 major fleets, Coke, Pepsi bottlers, and Swift, that they're very interested in doing pilot tests with us. Now, why would a company that's right now in Atlanta want to move to the balmy winters of Binghamton? Number one is the Vision Lab they have there, the Electronics Innovation Center they have there is an excellent fit for what we want to do. And we need to go where we can make it happen. And also, with their talent that's in the pipeline right now, we can see students at Binghamton becoming prime programmers down the road that create new technologies and predictive technologies. We also have a joint proposal in right now with the National Science Foundation to develop some of Binghamton's eye tracking technology into our space, where we can track a driver's scan pattern, we can track if he's distracted, we can track if he's impaired, and most importantly, we can identify a fatigued driver before he runs into a comedian's tour bus. We also look at the Startup New York benefits. For us, the tax benefits to the company are a big deal, but the biggest benefit is our ability to pass on those benefits to prospective employees when we're recruiting. And then the last is I actually have a local connection. I grew up about 40 miles from Binghamton, and I see our company having a larger impact in the Binghamton area than we would somewhere like Atlanta, and I'd like to bring this back to where I come from. The market appears to be somewhat fragmented, but it actually breaks into 4 very distinct areas: GPS, driver logs, company data, including telematics, and visual. VehWare initially is going to come into the visual market up against Mobileye, who uses algorithms, but concentrates primarily on in front of the vehicle, and DriveCam, which just concentrates on the front of the vehicle and captures data, but doesn't use algorithms. Ours is much more comprehensive, and we can actually eventually move more towards the center by opening up our platform and allow other aspects of the market to operate on our platform. Our projections for the first 5 years, counting for development time, pilot tests, things like that, we project revenues of about $50 million by year 5. Total sales for the first 5 years equals only 0.5% of the market. Also, because we're using algorithms and processes instead of physical triggers like most of the competitors do, our core technology becomes the building blocks for future autonomous vehicles. So down the road, when you've got an autonomous bus picking people up, it could be VehWare's technology that's running it. I'm Bill Howe, and we're looking for investors and partners that can make the development of this technology possible here in the state of New York. Thank you.